So marketers, where do you get most of your digital data? Is it Facebook and Google? I'm willing to bet this is probably the case. But the truth is, there's a lot more out there. And if you find a way to access that data, new doors open. Our next speaker will show you how you can do this. And our next speaker, he needs little introduction. It's Fishkin, the co-founder of Moz, the SEO tool we all love, and also the co-founder and recently even more famous for the platform SparkToro. Let's turn to Rand now.
Howdy, everyone, and thanks very much, Mentis, for having me. I have got a ton to get through, so we're going to dive right into it. I think we need to stop relying so much on Facebook and Google for all of our marketing and move to other channels. And I have three core arguments about why this is so important. First, Facebook and Google, these companies are not your friends. They are not reliable. They are not in your corner. They are out for themselves. Second, you can't get the same competitive advantage on Facebook and Google that you can from other more diverse sources. I'll talk about why in a sec. And number three, when you go and build up brand equity elsewhere, the duopoly themselves, Facebook and Google, perform better for you and your market. So first off, look, these companies are using your work to create addiction to their platform, right? Google is pulling in content from your websites. They're making sure that they only show snippets of video. They just announced that 7% more of queries are going to have these extracted snippets. They don't want to send traffic to your website anymore. They want to keep it for themselves. I did some research last year, wrote a post, was cited in Congress that less than half of all Google searches result in a click to somebody else's website. And the biggest winner in Google, Alphabet. The Alphabet Corporation, which owns Google and YouTube, 12% of all clicks go from Google to another Alphabet property. This is true. The more lucrative your sector looks, hotels, flights, jobs, you name it, right? The more likely Google is to become your competitor and to leverage what you've given them against you. Facebook did pretty much the same thing, right? They leveraged all of us marketers to build their platform. Oh, like us on Facebook. Tell your customers to come like your page. We'll show them your content. That was a joke, right? Well, what is it today? Average in page reach is 0.09%. 0.09%. I'd rather have one email than 1,000 Facebook pages. There you go. This is from Rival IQ, by the way, who does a great report every year. These algorithms on Facebook, they are optimizing for engagement, which leads to a lot of hatred and misinformation and disinformation. It doesn't lead to a lot of business results. And it's very, very weird that we are all spending, $3.50 per whatever it is, per click, per engagement on Facebook and getting back $3.49 and being like, well, we made a penny. Second, it's very hard to build a competitive advantage if you're just on Google and Facebook because everybody's on there, right? The way duopoly advertising works, right, is basically each incremental ad impression costs you dollars. As you improve ad ROI, this is usually counteracted by competition, obviously, rising prices and changing inventory. And when Facebook or Google need to show Wall Street growth, you pay more, which reduces your ROI. I call this Boulder-Pushing Marketing because essentially every step of progress requires the same amount of effort. You don't gain efficiency, right? And the successive steps get even harder over time. What you really want is a marketing flywheel, right? Where essentially you make an investment of some kind. You publish a blog post, for example, and you share your post and you boost that thing's reach. And then you engage and grow your audience and get more subscribers. Now you improve your algorithmic signals and you get higher ROI next time, right? This is awesome. Google and Facebook alone make that really hard to do. They can be part of it, but using them only just doesn't work. On the duopolies, you have to compete with everyone, right? TikTok for Business is throwing billions of dollars into advertising, right? Films are throwing money into this stuff. I love this one. I searched Google for, you're going to run ads for this? And look, there's TikTok Business. They're willing to pay for that. But on alternative channels, right? I found this great Research Live platform or in the market research world, which is what my company SparkToro helps with, right? And look, I can advertise directly to them. I can sponsor this site directly. There's only one other advertiser on here. It's high potential, right? High potential. Number 3, when you build brand equity elsewhere, Google and Facebook themselves become better channels, right? So I'm obsessed with pasta and specifically with making pesto. So I go to these websites, I'm trying to learn how to make the best pesto I can, like I had in Genoa. Oh, I miss travel. So I see this Nuovo Marmo Tecnica mortar and pestle set. I'm like, is that really important? Do I need to get one of those? Then I see it again. You see this Nuova Marmo Tecnica. Okay. Go to small kitchen. Nuovo Marmo Tecnica. Again, fine. I go to Etsy and I spend $220 to get this pesto rock and stick. It does make amazing pesto, by the way, which is a workout, my friends. Oh my God. But this is the thing, right? Brands that build affinity, right? That have reached me throughout the stages of my buying funnel, that they are going to get high click-through rate, high engagement rate, high conversion rate. That's why I know this brand, I'm going to click on it. But brands that only invest in ads, like BF Cart, I've never heard of you. I don't even know if a wooden pestle and mortar are going to work. The more you put into other channels, the better the duopoly performs, right? Okay, let's talk about how to expand beyond Google and Facebook. So I have this kind of relatively simple, straightforward 5-step process for you. Figure out who your customers are. Find the messages that resonate with them. Uncover the sources that influence them. Discover where those audiences engage, right? The sources that influence your audience and your customers. And then go amplify the messages that work in the places where they pay attention. This is marketing, right? This is core to marketing. I'll give you some tactics at the end here to walk through these. So I urge you to get some basic stats and data about messages that resonate and how people talk about it and what they're looking for with surveys. I really like using Typeform. I tend to get about 30% higher completion rate and response rate when I use Typeform versus SurveyMonkey or Google Forms. Your mileage may vary, but I like this program. I also urge you to, along with the surveys that you run, interview your customers, buying and non-buying audiences, to get data about sort of a real feel for the individual people and the color behind those answers. From that process, you can learn like what my audiences do, how the buyer journey starts, right? Whether it's people start researching recipes and then they research pesto and then they get to, the mortar and pestle, or, they start looking for getaways and then they're looking for weekend trips and they're looking for how to have a safe vacation during COVID because of the pandemic, right? You want to find where the audience pays attention. And look, there are other tools out there, but SparkToro is pretty darn good for this. I try not to promote my own stuff too much, but this is a good program, and it is free to try out, so you can give it a spin. There's another really good one that's free, is checking out sources that previously worked well for you. So you can go into your analytics, find a source that sent you good traffic, right? A website, a blog, whatever it is, and plug it into SimilarWeb. SimilarWeb's search bar at the top of their page. You don't have to register. They will show you at the bottom of the data that they show about a website, competitors and similar sites. So it's a wonderful free opportunity to get a bunch of data on what else might be sending you good traffic. And obviously, these audience intelligence tools, not too bad. All right. When you need to do promotion for social, right? When you're trying to get amplification, the whole goal of social, in my view, the way to do it best is to optimize for what I call engagement streaks, because that's what the social platform reward. Essentially, the networks are looking for content that keeps users on their platform, whether we're talking about Twitter or LinkedIn or Reddit or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is. Posts that either earn a lot of replies or repeat visits. They're looking for that more than they're looking for likes and shares. So whereas a few years ago, I used to tell people optimize for likes and shares, now you're looking for replies, comments, people coming back and checking out your content. Visual and video stuff works really well too. And then you want to give your followers what they want. And sadly, consistency of focus is a big part of that. People tend not to like deviation from the initial reason they followed you or your brand. This is why sometimes when people mix in politics or whatever, folks don't love it. That's not to say, I urge you to say screw it and share your politics, because I think that's important. But if you want to do well on social, be aware that high controversy and belief reinforcing content. So if your audience believes something and you can reinforce that, that works really well. You want it to be easy to consume and process. So shorter, more visual stuff tends to work well, which is why photos work so well. The goal here, right, the way that I play this is I sort of post something that's high engagement, non-promotional, no link, high engagement, non-promotional, then a promotion, right? Then something with a link to my blog post or to something on SparkToro, then high engagement, non-promotional, high engagement, non-promotional. Basically what I'm doing is I'm building up a streak with these ones that earn brand exposure and new followers, and then I'm capitalizing on the algorithmic reputation that I've built to send clicks back to my site. And I want to try and capture every email address I can, because an email address is so much more valuable than a visit or a social share. So here's MailChimp's benchmarks, right? And 25%, 22 to 25% on average versus 0.09%. It's literally an email address is worth so much more than 252 times what a Facebook like is worth. And there is huge pent-up demand, especially in the economic situation that we've been in for the last 9 months and probably will be for another 6 in B2B and B2C right now. And you can execute on that really well with an email address. It's pretty hard with anything else. Emails also convert. We see it with SparkToro. I'm sure you've seen it. When you can get someone to open and click through your email, you get very, very decent conversion rates, 1.5%, 2%, even 3%, versus a social conversion or an ad conversion tends to be much less because there's a high affinity there. If you're an email pro, I like MailChimp and Mailgun. That's the combination we use. If you're new to email marketing, especially if you're an SMB, I really like Tidings. I would urge you to check them out. I got a link there. If you are spending right on Facebook and Google, audit those ads, my friends. I swear there's a lot of wasted spend. There's a good service called Check My Ads from Nandini Jami. She was one of the co-founders of Sleeping Giants. Look at this. Uber found $90 million of advertising fraud. Check ads, honestly. If you want to audit your Google pay-per-click, go check out Seer Interactive's Saving Benjamin's Lite tool, also free to use and check out. And Seer's got a great team around all this stuff. What you can do then is take the money that you saved and put it towards those sort of beyond the duopoly investments. You can invest in digital PR and content and social and all these forms of amplification, building up your email list, and then go take the organic reputation you've built, put that and see better returns from any spend you're doing with Google and Facebook. All right, my friends, thank you so much for watching. You can try SparkToro free at sparktoro.com, and the folks from Socialbakers will make the slides and links available soon. Thanks so much. Take care.